Okay, we're going to move on to the 1010 item. County Executive, Placer County Economic Development Division Programs Overview. Good morning. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. I'll get combobulated here. Give me just a minute. And just a heads up that I am not 100% healthy today, which is why I'm sitting. And I brought reinforcements with Ava Keck, who's an economic development specialist in my department. And also one of the things I'd like to highlight, because I'm really proud of, I have staff. So last time I visited you, I had 50% vacancies. And if my team could please stand up, I know there's people from economic development and housing here today. I have a team, so they're here.
Wow.
The missing is Nicole Hinkle and Paul Griffith today, but
Okay.
we have people, so.
Great, that's
as
wonderful.
I go through,
Congratulations,
right?
all of you, for joining
So-
the team. We're happy.
So
to
as
have
I
you.
go through all of these items, I just want a shout out that it takes a village to do all of the work that we've been doing. And you're going to see that as we go through our presentation.
Oh, I need the clicker.
Yep. There we go. All right. So because of this team, we are all able to do the things that we are, and I think it begins at the board too. So as you know, I do a lot of presentations out in the community, and I always give the board a shout out, and you'll see a couple of slides initially going through that'll look familiar to you, but that's kind of how this goes. All right, so I always remind everybody about the board's critical success factors, and the key one for us in this instance is about the outcomes-focused economic development. We like to look at things, measure things, think about things. How can we make the best impact in a cost-effective way? And so that's really important for us to be mindful of as we go forward. I go through a basic economic development definition, and if there's only one word you want to take away out of all of this, it's intentional. I always talk about intentional. When you see all of this land in Placer County and it looks vacant and it looks like there's a lot of opportunity, I don't want to take just the first business that happens to knock on our door. I want to make sure that we're taking a business that fits here, that suits our community, that makes the best use of our resources, that gets our best return on our investment, so that way we're being thoughtful and intentional about what we do for economic development. So that's kind of one of our guiding principles in economic development, and you're going to see that throughout this presentation. This is one of our pizzazz slides. We sent a person off to Germany. You'll be hearing more about the Germany trip later. But we use this slide as sort of a sales pitch to remind people why Placer County is the second fastest growing county in the state. There's a lot of good things here. Those of us who live here know that. Those of us who work here know that. And it's a great place to be. And in fact, as I was leaving my office, which is just a few steps away to come here, there's an article in the SAC Business Journal today that's talking about why Placer County is one of the fastest growing places in California, and we're responsible for driving the growth of California. So I think it's something that we can all be proud of, and looking at why it's a good place to be. But this slide simply reminds you about our high quality of life, which is why we do a lot of the things we do. Economic development brings in tax revenue for us. So that way we're able to improve our trails, improve our parks, improve our roads, bridges, law enforcement, all of the things that we need to do, all of those other critical success factors that your board determines. So this is just our sales pitch slide. And then the last one is a little bit of bragging, because in California, if you have water, that's a big deal. And that's attractive to a lot of people who are coming from out of state or even out of the country. Many of you have seen this. I use this map in a lot of presentations, so I'm just going to go through it quickly. And I usually look at Placer County in 3 different geographies. On the east part, we have great natural resources, and so we need to preserve and protect those through destination stewardship. But we still want to build our economy, so we're looking for economic diversification. So we work with a number of partners up in that area to try to accomplish those goals. In the center part, we focus on ag tourism and agriculture. Agriculture, Josh Hunsinger has pounded this into my head, is a $664,000 economic impact every day. Every day. That's a big number. So ag is something that I have been embracing, as many of you know. We have the SALT grant we'll be talking about in a few minutes. But it's something that's very important to our region, and that's part of our history that we want to make sure we preserve and celebrate, because that's part of who we are. On the west end of Placer, I don't have to tell you this, we all know we're growing by leaps and bounds. There's over 35,000 houses in our pipeline that are coming. We have universities coming. We have all sorts of opportunities. And right now, I can tell you even things like WAPMA are getting involved in the circular economy. So they're upcycling and recycling, are actually looking at job creation. We sort of sprinkle in some love from the State of California Recycling Department. We have the ability to give up to $10 million in loans to businesses that start there. So we're really trying to partner with these people to help sprinkle some excitement into these efforts and get things moving and jumping and happening. I'm excited to say that the Placer Commerce Center continues to be just a blessing in this area, and all of the infrastructure spending that your board has done has been very helpful for getting this growth to start to happen in Western Placer. One of the things that you're going to see there, I list a few of our projects in the blue part: the Sac State Placer Center, the Regional Public Safety Training Center, the Forensic Science Lab, Commerce Center, Placer One. Those are all great opportunities for us, and our group tries to stay involved in all of those. We work on those from like workforce perspectives. We work with Sac State on helping to determine what majors they wanted. Our CEDRA directors kept saying, we need more planners. Believe it or not, they're adding urban planning. So all of these things work. When you let us know what it is that you need, we go out there and we try to make these things happen. One of the things that we're starting on that's a little new for us this year is we're calling the Downtown Revitalization Work Group. Yes, it needs a better name, but I think it's going to be something that's going to be really cool. We asked our partners, so we have group meetings every month. There's about 30 to 40 people on a call, and we talk about what's going on from economic development across the entire county. And one of the things that we found was everybody in commercial corridors were like, we need just a little more love in some of these areas. And everybody needs a little something different. The problems are not the same. So we asked people to volunteer their time, and 15 of them responded. So 15 out of about 30 or 40, that's a great response rate. And if that tells you the interest in this community and economic development, that's pretty cool too. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to take this little group out and go consulting. So let's use Colfax as an example. They've talked to us about people don't always get off of I-80 far enough into their community. So they stop at Starbucks or they stop at a gas station, but they do not necessarily go and explore the beautiful little downtown that they have in their area, in their community, or any of the natural resources that are nearby as well. It's a great place to be. So people like Colfax, the City of Colfax, or the Chamber invite this group in, and then we listen and work with the businesses and the people that are there and listen to their problems and help come up with some recommendations on the fly. And sometimes having new eyes seeing a problem helps to solve it, and having a group like this, they're all energized and excited, and we've been giving them resources as to how they can train themselves into solving some of these problems. But I think it's going to be exciting because this group will then meet with the group from the community that we're serving in and chat for a couple of hours and spend some time there, and then later on issue a report. And the report will consist of things like defining the problem, who was involved, and identifying potential resources to help solve some of those problems. So I think this is going to be a way of us looking not only at unincorporated, but also incorporated areas. I didn't realize that there was a demand within our incorporated areas, and we were corrected on one of our calls, and they were like, yeah, we'd like you guys to come and visit too. So I think this is going to be a way of all of Placer County sort of helping each other. And if we all get smarter together, I think it's a way of leveraging our efforts. And I'm kind of excited about this for 2024. Next up, agriculture and Salk. Many of you know we have been awarded a $500,000 planning grant for the Sustainable Agricultural Land Conservation Planning Grant for agriculture. And so this is going to help us with a couple of different things for ag use planning, housing, transit, ag ombudsman, ag tourism, and ag marketing. We're gearing up on the contract. That should be coming to your board in the very near future, so that way we can accept the award money and then get started on an RFP and some consultants, so that way we can move this forward. We expect this effort to work in conjunction with the general plan update. I think there's going to be a lot of crossover together, but we didn't want to have our farmers having to attend multiple meetings, so we're going to coordinate on all the outreach, so that way we're not annoying them too many times, but that way everybody does feel heard, and we start to establish policies and procedures that would really benefit and start to jumpstart our ag industry. And some of those, like even ag ombudsman, I'm going to go off on a tangent, this is where my staff gets nervous, they want to help not only our farm community, but I know I keep hearing from others about what about just our small business ombudsman as well. And so it may morph into something a little different than we originally anticipated, which isn't a bad thing. The state gave us this planning money to sort of explore what are the best practices of things. And so I think we're going to take a look at it and see what would really help Placer County. The award-winning Placer Tahoe Film Office. And I say that intentionally because as I walked into the door this morning, our PIO, did you hear, our website won an award. So we won a Cal PIO award, and we are now in a finalist for an EPIC award for our new film website. And if you haven't been there, our Placer Tahoe Film website was redesigned primarily so we could be a little more favorable for location managers. Those are the people who scout sites for use in film and commercials. We are really strong in commercials, but these scouts need to have a bunch of locations. And it wasn't very easy for you as a business or as a homeowner to put your property into our old website. Now it is. It's so much easier, and you put in the right words, and bada bang, you're being seen by Hollywood people. You know, it's just that easy, and it's great. So we've had a lot of new things come onto our website, which new means fresher, and then people keep looking at your stuff. Our film liaison has also done a FAM tour, a virtual FAM tour, in conjunction with El Dorado and Sacramento County. So people from around the world have seen our locations now. So that's pretty cool, too. To review, though, the Placer Tahoe Film Office is under economic development because they consider rooms, hotel room nights and things like that, and the employment that this industry brings as economic development. And we love that aspect of it. And even though there was a strike last year, we all know that that affected a lot of the operations. We had a record-setting year of over $5.5 million in economic impact. That blew our $3 million from the prior year out of the water. And so it's really exciting to see, and again, a lot of this comes from commercials. We're known for anybody who wants to be rugged. Your truck is not rugged if it has not filmed in Placer County. And you'll see our commercials on Super Bowl, Grammys. Whenever I see them, I'm like a kid, you know, I'm just like, yes, that was us. And then I text our film liaison right away. I'm like, did we just do, and I'll name the product, and she's like, yes. And so these are really exciting things. It's kind of cool that Placer's getting this visibility. And because of some of this visibility and with some of the film industry that we've gotten lately, the news media around here and a few other places have started referring to us as Hollywood North. And so we're going to start using that name in some of our advertising that we do and sort of leverage that as well and position ourselves as, if you don't want to film down in Southern California, come up to Hollywood North. So these are just the fun things that we're doing from our film office. Workforce development, in addition to our Placer County Business Advantage Network groups, we partner with a lot of other people and places, and there's many, and this is just an idea of just some of the bigger things that are going on right now. Sac State Placer Center, I just wanted to show everybody some of the majors. I'm not going to read them out, but they're all there in your finer print about all the different studies that are going to be coming. And this, again, was intentional. So we worked with them on what are some of the needs that the businesses have at this time. They've done studies. They took their time trying to figure some of these things out. My team is going off on a Sac State tour so we can continue to work with them again this week. And so this relationship just continues to get stronger with Sac State Placer Center. And it's very exciting to see because they're going to have an easy transition for students from Sierra College to be able to start at Sierra, be on that campus, and then easily transfer into their four-year degree if they choose to. SURF is another state-level organization. The SURF for California Jobs First, they've changed their names. But they are looking at a few different sectors as well, and they've gathered a lot of data around different Placer County industries, and so this is some of the data and sectors that they're focused on. Talent pipeline management is something that the Roseville Chamber of Commerce has been adopting, and that's a US-wide Chamber of Commerce effort, so they've been doing this across other states as well, already as well, and very successfully in working with employers. And one of the examples that's rolled out of there is they have worked on healthcare successfully for talent pipeline management, and specifically getting radiology technicians, and there's specific types, I don't know all the types, but they are collaborating on some of these things. So rather than competing against each other, they're all finding ways to get the training done and to get more people into some of these fields. And some of these fields have like higher barriers to entry. They cost a lot to get some of this training. So they're trying to solve these problems together and work together to get more people in these industries. And healthcare is our biggest employer in Placer County, so we can't forget the importance of some of that. And then I mentioned AI alternatives just because I like to remind everybody I worked in IT for a zillion years, but I also work with our IT here, and I talk to them all the time about what are some options that we could be looking at. And we like to look at young people. How are we getting a supply of young people coming into government specifically? And one of the things that I propose is even my youngest person on my staff will not relate very well to people who are in high school. You know, they're looking at their phones a lot of times. And so how can we take something like a chat bot and mix that with AI technology and answer questions? So that way, if a high schooler is busy thinking one night, I just want to make money, and they're talking to their phone, I just want to make money. Well, boom, you should be a forensic pathologist. Those people make a lot of money. I didn't know that until we had those job openings. Or I want to be outside and I like seeing people. Well, maybe you're in forestry or maybe you're in parks. So that way they can start to explore, and then they can just click on some of these things. And what does it take? And then the best part of it is show them what is the reward for doing some of these things. What are the salaries that are associated with some of this? What does it look like when you're 50 years old? What does it mean to have a pension? I think a lot of young people don't understand this. So we're working with HR and with IT on some of these AI technologies, and we view that as a workforce development issue. So it's kind of exciting to see how we can use technology, and if we get something like that set up, other jurisdictions could use that as well and help everybody out. So it's kind of a cool idea to just be looking at that. And we know that AI has already been used successfully for hiring by our sheriff's department. So this is just sort of a complementary idea to that. The Business Resource Center, BRC 2.0, last year, let me see my numbers, I think we had gathered over 1,000 clients served and over 1,300 client hours done. So my team takes a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails from people. We're happy to do that, and we're here to do that. I'm always disappointed if I hear of a business that didn't know to reach out to us, and that still happens. So we have an idea for when we get our new BRC 2.0 announced, we're going to have a different type of a marketing campaign, and I think we're going to reach people in ways that they hadn't been reached out to before. And we have to just keep trying new things to see what might work the best. So that way I don't have to go to a meeting and be disappointed when I hear, I didn't know you guys did that. To me, I kind of feel like a personal failure when we do that, and I think it's important to get the word out as much as we can. So watch for some increased advertising in the middle of this calendar year. But the BRC, the Business Resource Center, provides resources to small businesses at no cost, consulting fees, any sort of help that they need to get going, help with regulatory hurdles. It can be almost anything that we run into. But we wanted to take a look at BRC 2.0 because we know that the environment that we've been operating in has changed. And we're going to run through some of our partners in a little while, and you'll see how much the environment has changed. So where is it that we can best serve? Like, what's our new sweet spot for serving the businesses at this point? And I think that's what we want to find out. And so we have some consultants and CDBG money, and they're working on finding out what are the things that we need to do, coming up with an implementation plan and strategy, and then we'll look at how fast we can get some of that moving forward. And again, my staff out there, yay, they're going to be busy. So I think we're going to be able to help more businesses in more effective ways going forward. So I'm kind of excited about that. And I heard, too, that their study was looking at chatbots and AI as well. So there could be some exciting things coming forward. I wanted to just mention the economic ecosystem because I actually get asked about this. Who all works on economic development in Placer County? And the last time I presented in front of this board, I had a list, and I think it had maybe 100 names or something on it. And if anybody's missing from the slides we're about to go through, I apologize. But we have been busy, and this team has been busy, and you're about to see like who is all involved in economic development from Placer County. And it's kind of crazy. Just in general, here's your general categories, and we're going to go through these kind of fast. So under workforce, these are all our different, we're trying to reach out to schools more. As I mentioned before, we want to reach high schoolers. I know with the Public Safety Training Center, that's been a topic of discussion among all of those people as well. And it's how can we all leverage our efforts to reach high schoolers a little bit better, and some of them are even more advanced, and they're like, well, we're already in high schools. We're reaching down to middle schools now. So I think this is kind of exciting for us. There's all the regional colleges, and we look at a region. When we go to places like Germany, they're interested in what are all the different degree opportunities that students have. And we also have the regional university that we all know is coming as well. There's different training agencies, and something that's new and different is you'll see a little more military on there than we have in the past. And the reason that we're doing that is that when Bosch came, and we've met with them several times, they said one of the groups of people that they would be interested in hiring are former military people. So we've made partnerships with Beale Air Force Base as well as nonprofits and our veteran service officers. So we are all like linked together as to how we can help our businesses move forward. There's many business organizations, and it's one of the easiest ways for us to touch more businesses in the community. When we send out our newsletters, they go out to about 12,000 businesses throughout the county. But we also like to have a little more of a personal touch because the chambers tend to know more about them, or if there's problems that the chambers have that they need, we tend to work with them. We've been collaborating more on events together. So there's like the Business Summit, the Workforce Summit, the Placer Valley 2024, which will be coming up. Daniel, you'll probably be a speaker again. So everybody's ready. But there's many events that are going on these days, and some of our partners are through the chambers. We also have various levels of government. We partner with all of our fellow cities and towns in the area, but then also state level, our neighboring counties we partner with frequently, as well as federal communities. And in fact, right now we've been working on our CEDS, which is our Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, the project listing for that, which would enable some of our capital projects to be considered for EDA funding in the future. So there's many levels of government that we partner with. There's regional entities, because we like to make sure that we're fitting in with all of our regional partners as well. And so you can see that we're all consistent and in alignment. And then our entrepreneur ecosystem has changed quite a bit, and one of those is a lot due to Mark Haney, who's been doing phenomenal things with his Growth Factory and the Roseville Venture Lab. There's so many exciting things in that backyard, as he calls it, and I just love his energy and his excitement. But I think that ties into where can the Placer Business Resource Center fit in and not have to duplicate necessarily all of these services, but where is our unique sweet spot to help people? What do they need to be helped with considering all of these other people who are now in the backyard here? So it's kind of an exciting thing. It's kind of an exciting problem to have these many people who are interested in doing things in economic development in your area. It's a sign of our growth, and it's a sign of all the exciting things going on from that Sacramento Business Journal article today. I mean, you just think about it, and it's like all of these people working together. This alignment is making the magic happen. We work with several nonprofits. These are just a few of the key ones that we work with. I can't shout out enough to the Visit Placer people. We work with them. They'll get a special shout out at the very end. Our Arts Council, doing great things with creating jobs in the creative sector, and we're pleased about all of that, as well as allowing for after-school opportunities, so that way somebody could have an 8-hour job instead of just a 6-hour job, which is the difference between getting benefits or not. So we actually think about these things when we're choosing our nonprofit partners. Now, before I get to my questions, I want to say, why did I show you all of these partners? And I think it's important that we all clearly understand the foundation that's being built here in Placer County. Your board gives us a lot of money for infrastructure, which has helped to improve the Sunset area. That allows us to attract businesses to the Placer Commerce Center and to Placer One. Sac State Placer Center helps with the momentum. The Bosch investment of $1.5 billion is just totally changing this area. Our goal, we need to remember, is to attract jobs that pay at least $37 an hour. And I say that. If there's nothing you remember today, just remember 37. That's the magic number, because that's what it costs, $37 an hour, to be able to afford an apartment in Placer County. I don't want people making less than that, because then I have an affordable housing problem that I have to solve. And we all know that that's going to take more time and effort. So it makes sense for us to be intentional about recruiting jobs and getting those that are making at least $37 an hour. Later on today, you're going to hear about the exciting Germany trip from GSEC. Barry will be here. He can outperform me. And a finance district in Sunset, which will be another tool that we'll be able to have that should help with all of this excitement. All of these organizations, in alignment with your board priorities, are helping to propel Placer County forward in an intentional manner. And then last but not least, for those of you who haven't seen it yet, the QR code will take you to a 3-minute video by one of our partners, the Placer County Visitors Bureau, helped make this rock star video, and we've been showing this now all over the world, and it highlights why Placer County is so great. So I want to thank you for allowing me to work here. I want to thank you for allowing me to assemble a great team, and then I'm now open for your questions.
Better put on my microphone so you can hear me. Thank you for that. Comments by the board members. Supervisor Holmes.
Thank you, Chair. You've really made an impact. How long have you been here now? 3 years?
Not even two.
Not even 2?
Not even two.
Wow. This is a comprehensive, all-encompassing collaboration throughout the county. And you're excited, so am I about this. This is really great, a great work to be done. And it's, you can see the, throughout the county, people, chambers of commerce, all these organizations you call in must be excited about working together. It's about time. Thank you. And all these young people that are out here working for you now, where do you house them? Are they, do you have enough staff? I know obviously enough staff, but where do you put them?
We're all still over in the annex building we're over in the annex building right next door, so it's just a short walk over.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's room in there for all these folks?
Right now, there still is.
Oh, okay.
Still fit, but I don't know that we have room for even one more. So I think we're at capacity.
And I think I see someone missing from your group. Is Paul Griffith still with the firm?
Paul is still with the firm, and Nicole Hinkle is as well. They're just not here today, but yeah, they're still essential parts of our team.
Yeah, good. All right, great presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your support.
Supervisor Gore.
Thank you, Gloria. I appreciate your presentation, and I want to piggyback on that. It's so very important that we have partnerships in the county with our business community, but the schools as well, and all of these nonprofits, et cetera. I just think that's so important because we know when we work together, we can leverage our resources and our expertise. So just thank you for heading that up, and thank you for providing the infrastructure, which brings me to the question about the downtown revitalization, right? And you mentioned how the smaller cities had need for that. My question is, what areas in the unincorporated part of Placer are you focusing on as far as downtown revitalization?
We're going to go by invite. So we're going to be putting the word out that we're going to be doing this. Right now, we've been focusing on building the group, and we're right about at the stage where this month we're going to be targeting who are we going to start helping with. We want to do a few, I'm going to put air quotes around practice communities first. Some of them have invited us, but there's going to be some that are going to be a little tougher going forward. Like I think Kings Beach is going to be a little tougher one. So we're going to wait until we've done a few, and then we have better ideas and a better understanding. But it's kind of by invite, who's interested in inviting us, first of all. And then if it slows down, right now I think we have enough work to keep us. If we do about one a month or one every 6 weeks, I think we have enough work without even having advertised for about 6 months already. So I think we're going to be busy, and I think it's going to be the opposite problem of trying to fend them off once they start to hear it. My true hope is once we go into a community that the businesses not only ask about the problem at hand, but others as well. You know, like even I have a problem with this issue, and helping them a little bit deeper.
Great, thank you.
Okay, Supervisor Gustafson.
Thank you, and I'd echo my counterparts on great job in bringing your vision and dedication. We've seen so much occur since you joined the team and expanded your team, so thank you to the whole team on the efforts and the collaborative efforts in working with our communities. The ombudsman ideas that came out of the sustainable ag and your efforts there to support us, I appreciate. I have been asked by many about how small businesses especially can have more support with county government processes. Is that an area that you're diving into with advocacy? Because I think often we all, well, not even me, understand all the processes, even sitting in this seat, that a small business person has to go through with the various departments of the county.
Yep, I agree with that, and I think I'm looking at Supervisor Landon because I know she's heard about this from the winery side of things, but also our regular small businesses. A lot of times they don't know where to go or how to get started. We want to make like clear instructions for people, clear resources for people. And so one of the people sitting out in the audience right now has been looking at our website and comparing it to others. How can we make things a little bit better? And again, that coupled with a different sort of an advertising strategy, I think might help enable them. But we want to make sure that we're improving things.
And it's a two-way street. I mean, I'm looking for you also to provide us back with information about what other jurisdictions are doing to help small businesses, right? Maybe we have had blinders on to the support we need to be for our small local businesses.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we'll learn more about our BRC 2.0 study. I think when we go out in the community and we hear from the businesses directly, you know, a lot of times, remember, we're making policies and programs for people in the hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars of things, and it's more of a macro level. I think this micro level, we're going to hear more things from people. And with this team assembled, I think we're able to do things about it at this point. So that's the exciting part for me. It's like we're at this tipping point where I think we're going to be able to make an impact on these businesses. And it'll be joint work. You all have newsletters. I subscribe to all of them. You all have people that you reach and see. And so we may ask your help for some of these things as well. So, and we always work with your staff, but I think it might be even closer when we get some of these new business opportunities and support for them available.
Well, I really appreciate the efforts. I did attend the last Vintners meeting, and this weekend went out on the Sip into Spring effort and talked to a number of the winery owners, and they're very supportive of the efforts that you're bringing, and to trying to help us have a more collaboration between the departments and the wineries too, because some of the rules and regulations are important, but they're very costly and hard to manage. And then finally, the community. Can you be of help with us? Because as you heard, if you listen to public comment today and others, when you talk about all this growth, it's really exciting to some, it's very frightening to others. And how do we best tell that story and get the word out about the economics that they need from us as well? And we look for your guidance in those messaging to our community.
Yep. I think
Those
I'm going to
messages.
need to work with probably your staffs and then also some of the Cedar staff as well, because there's times where I listen to some of the rezone comments and I'm yelling at my laptop, you know, in my own private office, and I'm just like, you need to know about Salk. We're here to help these ranchers. There's people that feel that their way of life might be threatened, and they need to know that Salk is going to be there to help them preserve their way of life and protect their way of life. There's also people that need to be aware of some of the economic opportunities that this provides, and that workers should be housed closer to where their jobs are. A lot of the comments that they make are they don't want people to have to drive so far. They're not wrong. You know, we should be looking for how can we house people closest to their jobs as possible, but that's not always possible with the sites that we have available or the geography or topography of the land. So we have to think about that as well. I think we have to I think it's a collaborative effort, you know, to solve some of these things or to address some of these things. And I don't mind my team, now that I have a team, thank you, we can work with messaging with some of these other groups as well.
Well, I would urge that, again, collaboration within the county to help us address those issues, because I think you really hear that from our rural communities, that fear that we're being taken over by all this new growth and development, while again, the jobs focus that you have is critical. We need to tell that story of why those jobs are more critical than necessarily some of the other development that was approved in the past. So thank you. I appreciate your whole team and the housing emphasis now as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Landon.
Thank you. I don't have any questions, but I do just want to say thank you so much for being proactive with our community. And I've been in a number of meetings with you and with Ava as well, and I haven't had the pleasure yet of working with some of your other team, but you have just been such a great advocate. And even though we don't have an ombudsman at this point, it's almost like you have been a little bit of an ombudsman for some of these folks. And so I just really appreciate your work. And also, in particular, just want to give you a shout out on the SALT grant, because I'm so very excited to see how all of that plays out. And I think it's going to be such a game changer for the future of agriculture in our county. So just want to say thank you to all of you and your team.
Thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, would Congratulations on your SAC Journal article. That's quite rewarding after all your hard work. You have really surpassed our greatest expectations in your position as economic development in your short term here, and we really appreciate that. Last thing, on your downtown revitalization, you're talking about, well, downtowns. How do you feel about Granite Bay?
Well, the interesting thing is, I know a little bit about Granite Bay. Remember, I'm new to the region as well. And I was kind of surprised when I heard that, like, Rockland wanted us to come in. And they said they don't really have like a downtown. And I think Granite Bay has some sort of a similar issue, you know, they're sort of areas. And I think I wouldn't be opposed to working with any areas like that. If Rockland wanted us to come, I could see the commonalities of Granite Bay wanting us to come.
Yes, I can too, because, you know, we were a part of the Rockland, used to be Roseville/Granite Bay Chamber of Commerce, and they sort of dropped Granite Bay off years and years ago. So it might help us feel a little bit wanted.
Yep, no worries. We're happy to do
We'll
it. I
look
think it's
in-
going to be a great opportunity.
We'll look into that.
Yep.
Okay, I'd like to open it up for public comment. Good morning still.
Board, Chairman Jones, members, Rob Haswell here, CEO, Executive Director of the Placer County Visitors Bureau, longtime partner with the county, and I'm here just to briefly lend my support and comments on Gloria and her team's behalf. It's, you know, the work that they've done and the ability to kind of bring us as a whole, you know, to play regionally has really been, I think, a game changer for Placer. And as you well know, our biggest charge is tourism marketing, which is a very big industry here in Placer. It's over $1 billion industry. But under Gloria's time, we've taken a larger role in doing more of the economic development work in partnership. Hopefully you've all seen the video. We're pretty proud of it. It was something that was really Gloria's idea and such an inspiration, really, because it is what we sell to our visitors, too, is our lifestyle. And so it is super important, to your point, Supervisor Gustafson, about preserving the great quality of life we have here, you know. I'm personally excited to be doing some work outside of the tourism, more in the economic development. I am a member, going to be a member on the Downtown Revitalization Work Group. Obviously, we supported the SALT grant, super important, and I think game-changing development here in county, right? Like having a ag vision as you put together your general plan update is going to really do what a lot of folks I think we're worried about, right? It will really help, you know, solve our maintain our quality of life. We give logistical support to the film office, work really close with them. And one other thing is I represent Placer County and economic development on the GSAC regional rebrand, which is really exciting that they're doing, that Barry's team is doing a rebrand to really have our region as a whole compete on the global level. And so it's a real testament, I think, to the work that you've done, your board and Gloria's team, that Placer has risen to the level of being a major player in the region. So again, super excited. It's just been a real pleasure to work for Gloria's team and for economic development. And, you know, we're looking forward to doing it for a lot longer. So thank you very much for your time.
Teresa Powell from Auburn. I just want to comment about the bountiful water supply that we have here, where our government keeps telling us, Newsom, over and over, we're in a big drought, we're in a drought, we're in a drought. I want to tear out this dam, I want to tear out that dam, I got to save this smelt. If we don't preserve our water supply, we're not going to have a bountiful water supply to back up all these 35,000 houses that are coming. We need to keep our dams in place and not let them try to save a little tiny fish in order to make the people not have water. We need water to live. We don't need the aquifers taking our water underground, away from the agriculture down in Central Valley. That's my only comment. The bountiful water.
We do. Michael, go ahead and unmute your mic and give your comments.
Well, thank you. Good morning, supervisors. Michael Garabedian, Placer County Tomorrow. I'm going to ask once again, how many people are moving out of Placer County? It's hard to get that information from the county, and I mean individuals, families, businesses, farmers, county staff, some of our best. So in my 23 years involved in county issues, some of our best have left. But something that's also leaving rapidly is rural Placer County, rapidly. Whether it's Placer County Conservation Plan, or wildland-urban interface, having the highest concentration of wildland interface of any county, so it's happening in private land forested areas, agricultural areas, and this is my response, and I'm glad to have a chance to do that this morning. Always appreciate it. Thank you.
No further.
To keep doing greater things for us.